So hello and welcome to another Case broadcast. It's hello from me, Patrick Twitchett, the Simplifier, and
it's hello from me, Melvin Manning, the man that puts business back into business.
So this is our December broadcast, so it's going to be slightly different, as is our December workshop, isn't it, Melvin?
It's going to be very different. Is it Christmas already?
It is indeed.
God,
it is indeed.
Blimey.
The question I'd like to ask you is your tree up yet, Melvin?
Yes, my tree is not up.
Yes, my tree is not up. Analyse that grammatically. Very good.
Who's got time to put a tree up? But I tell you what I have got, because Christmas is coming, isn't it?
It is, yes.
Well, I'm going to take my hat off. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to put my other hat on. It's Christmas. Where's me bubble? Oh, there it is.
Look at that. That's very festive, Melvin. I'm very pleased to see that. And on that subject of red and white Father Christmas, we were out yesterday because Lorraine loves buying Christmas bits every year. We accumulate them as we go, and we saw some Father Christmases. She wanted one to stand in the corner. And she said, what one do you like? There was a red and white one, there was a grey and white one, there was a white one. And I said, I want anything other than the red and white one. Because Coca-Cola in the 1920s and 1930s changed Father Christmas to this red and white man when he was originally green and white, or green and something, I believe. So we've got our a grey suited Father Christmas, and I'm really happy about that. That's kicking against the marketing brand.
That must have cost a few bob.
No, it's not life size. It's not 6 foot tall.
All you had to do, Patrick, is put your elf outfit on and volunteer to stand in the corner.
Yeah, I could be. Yeah, I just had to get my curly wig, and I could be Buddy from the film. Yeah. Thank you for that. So moving on now into the Case broadcast. We wanted to discuss with people, firstly, what our plans were for the coming year with Case. We've recently had our November workshop, and in that was fantastically presented by Rob Conroy, and he took us through goal setting. There's some really groundbreaking, enlightening moments for people. People were talking about goals like finances and stuff, and Rob was just saying, no, I want to know what you want out of life. I want to know what car you want, what house you want, what holidays you want. They're your goals. The finances drive them. And it was so eye-opening for a lot of people.
It was a very good workshop, and it went like that.
It did indeed. It did indeed. Everyone that was there really, we got some really good feedback.
It was fabulous, fabulous. I'm looking forward to what's going to happen in December.
Well, indeed, and we're going to cover that later, Melvin. I know you want to dive into that now. We're going to talk about that a little bit later.
Very potentially exciting.
Okay, so let's focus our excitement for now on what Case is looking to achieve in 2022. So the idea of Case, as we've mentioned many times before, and the letters represent this, connecting and supporting entrepreneurs. That's our whole ethos. And the idea is that we've set up a low barrier to entry, so it's inclusive, because everybody is at a different stage of their business journey. Some people that's listening to this now, you the listener now, might just be thinking about a business. You might not have anything in place. You might still be working in employment for somebody else, but you're thinking about a business idea. And we want our audience to include you, because the mastermind process behind CASE is to take people on that entrepreneurial journey. And the tiers have been set up to encapsulate that. So we start with our first tier, which is the Chrome membership. That's completely free to be a part of it. You can be a part of the CASE community. You can have a profile on our website that we're setting up as we speak now. And you can engage with that CASE community. And that's the whole key point here. We've got our Facebook group. We'll have our own closed forum. That's one of the things that we're planning to introduce in 2022. So there's an exclusive part for paying members only as well. And with that profile that you can have set up, you can communicate with other members in CASE. So the bronze level that we've set up is a paid level. And as we speak now, it's a mere £8 a month, or if people are willing to contribute and buy into an annual membership, we discount that quite heavily, don't we, Melvin?
We do.
Yeah, and that's just to encourage the longevity of people and for their loyalty for joining for a year. So that's only £60. Now, that may well go up in the future, but that's what we're currently holding it at. And there's no plans to increase that as we speak at this time.
A mere £5 per month.
That indeed, that's all it equates to, is a £5 a month. That gets people into all of our workshops. Our workshops are normally £8 a time, and we hold at least one of those every month. So there's, a great saving to come along to all of our workshops. And again, we're going to allow them to enhance their profile on the site a little bit more as part of the bronze level, to give people the added benefits of that particular membership. But in 2022, we want to open up our higher levels of membership, and we want to announce them here. So the level beyond bronze is our silver membership. And the idea of that one is that people can then participate in a closed mastermind group. So whereas our workshops are a very open, free for all, anyone to come and join us, the closed mastermind groups are going to be between 3 to 6 people. It's going to be focused on those participants in those groups, and we're going to talk about their challenge or their issue or their ideas. Then we will brainstorm them as a group of professional people advising each other. It's like having your own board of directors, and that membership, we're offering that as a trial as well. So you will see that coming out through 2022. There is an opportunity to try that out for 3 months before even committing financially. And that will be, as a commitment, as a monthly fee, £40. And there is a heavy discount for people for an annual membership too. So you've got that opportunity to taste and see if it fits what you want to do, but it will be member driven. It's got to be, Melvin, hasn't it, that these people coming in here, we need them to be self-motivated. We're going to share with you the ideas and inspire you, but it's for those members to carry it out, isn't it?
Well, it's certainly all of the above that you've mentioned, but the most important thing is would you like to give the listeners and viewers an idea of the price point on it?
Well, I just said that, £40 a month.
No, the annual.
Yes, the annual membership. So annual membership for silver is again heavily discounted at £300. So again, people's loyalty being rewarded for committing in to that length of time. So beyond that, we are planning a gold membership. There's going to be a lot more involved in that, but we'll leave people to wait and see as we announce.
We're refining it, Patrick. It's being refined.
We are indeed. We are indeed. And
we like to make sure people get great value, not just good value, but great value for money. So, you know, the various entities that are involved in the gold membership are under consideration because we want to make sure that people get a terrific deal.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's offering deeper support as people go forward on their journey.
Yeah.
Because we appreciate that anyone starting out in business, you know, starts very often with zero. They've got tight budgets, they haven't got lots of surplus income. So we're making those low barriers to entry available for those that are just willing to commit to put the effort in. And over all of that, the emphasis is that we want people that are working on their business more than they're working in their business.
And those that are in their business, we want to encourage them to be working in a much more effective way and actually be working on their business.
Absolutely. And to work smart and not hard, as we often hear, but it's about delegation. It's about trying to grow in a way that's sustainable and that doesn't put people under so much pressure.
No, we don't want to hear we don't want to hear the stories that, you know, when I was a lad, when I was a boy, you know, I only started with £1, 4 shillings and sixpence. You know, we need to bring things back into the 21st century. Yes, it's difficult to start a business, but we don't want to make it that much of a difficult process. It's actually quite simple. You just have to have the ability, the foresight, the goal settings, and the ambition.
Indeed. No, that's so true, Melvin. That's so true. And we just want to be there to support people on that journey.
Nurture.
Indeed.
Got to get your nose up, nurture.
Indeed. So our other goals are to open up and extend the CASE community. We're looking not just to have an audience, but to have members and to encourage people to journey into that, aren't we, Melvin?
Well, to get involved and become the business doctors of the future.
Definitely. And again, that you touched on a point there, the business doctors of the future. I like that. And the idea within CASE is that, yes, you as a member, you're there to draw from the other members, their wisdom and experience, but also to express your own, because everybody's got an idea, everybody's got their own opinion, and sometimes they're wrong, sometimes they're right, but we want that. We like that free, open place where we can share our thoughts and ideas, because very often, as Melvin, I'm sure, will attest to this, some of the ideas I bring forward are really zany and crazy, and I do have to be sometimes brought back down to earth. But I don't mind that, because no one's criticizing me. People are giving me positive feedback to show me the right way. And that's what we want for every member within the community, just to have that freedom to speak and be heard.
There's nothing wrong with eccentricity, so long as it's put into the right directions.
Well, that's what I keep telling myself.
Well, so it's what we keep, let's say, banging on about, but it's not always listened to. But that's life, unfortunately.
Indeed. So another big initiative is we're looking to hold additional events now. So we have a regular monthly workshop, and currently that's still being held on the second Friday of every month. We feel that's always been the best time to do so. And these additional events will be taking place on key subjects, and that the topics of those will be driven by the CASE community. As we've always said, Melvin, the feedback that the CASE community gives, that's how CASE evolves. It's not a one-person project. It's a whole community of people contributing their ideas and thoughts, and they're all listened to and all taken on board. So
I think it's important that the people watching this or listening to this podcast understand that these additional events, for those who are members, those who are paid up members, are all inclusive.
Indeed, yes, yeah, that's right. And
sorry, Chrome or potential Chrome members, but there will be a small fee to be paid should you wish to attend any of these additional events.
Indeed, yeah, but we, for the loyalty of our members, they'll be able to come along, which is great.
Indeed. Absolutely.
So we want to encourage more of our audience to step up, to become members, and
to get involved, Patrick.
Yeah, to get involved in the community, not just to be a lurker or a listener or a taker, but also a giver.
Yes.
To engage in
a lurker, Patrick. Oh my God.
Well, that's what they call it in social media. They call them the lurkers, the ones that go on LinkedIn. They never like or they never comment, but they're there. They're watching. They're listening.
I always thought that was a breed of dog.
You always thought that was a what?
A breed of dog.
What's that mean?
I thought a lurker was a dog.
A breed of dog. All right, okay. Yes, indeed it is. I think that's a lurcher, actually. There you go.
A lurker. That's a very unusual word for this type of podcast.
Well, the community I've been engaging with on LinkedIn uses lurkers quite frequently.
They're all lurkers, my God. Again, I would mistake that for a regiment in the army.
Well, lurkers... lurkers is also stalkers. Stalkers.
No, don't go. No, you're taking it. That's a bit low. No.
People will use that word as well. So there you go. But that's
those are the types of people. If you're out there, no, we don't want you.
Perhaps not. No. But we're looking for those, the audience, to become members, to participate in our regular closed mastermind groups, because that's where we feel people are really going to grow and see growth in their business. The workshops give people a great experience of what a brainstorming session involves, because you learn and take so much more away when you fully participate. But that's a taster of what a real closed mastermind group can do for you and your business.
So that's our goals, basically, Patrick, apart from one thing.
Go for it, Melvin.
We will be bringing to the nation of mastermind individuals a newsletter, which will be enlightening on anything and everything mastermind. But in addition to that, it will be bringing news of the member profiles, what members are up to, their successes, certain situations that have occurred that we are able to enhance and turn around into a positive situation. It's going to have some very interesting features.
Indeed it will, and that will be available to all the membership tiers, including the free Chrome membership. So again, another advantage of signing up as a Chrome member as well.
Absolutely.
So there
So
are our goals.
we've done our goals. What about the goals of the people that attended our November workshop? And as importantly, even if you haven't attended the workshop, how are you doing with your goals for 2021? What's happening?
Indeed.
What's that, you know, and we've had COVID, we've had 1,000 reasons why things shouldn't happen, but we know many stories, as we have discussed in the past, Patrick, where from adversity comes positivity and success. So it'd be lovely to hear, lovely in whichever form, the written form, video form, whichever form, to hear all the lovely stories, no matter what.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, Melvin, that I think we can actually extend that, because, all right, we all started goals out at the start of 2021. It'd be interesting to hear what goals people had at the start of 2020 before the lockdown.
Yeah.
And that transition around February, March, when everything turned on its head and everybody had to adapt and evolve. And again, goals have to be adapted. And I would say never more was there a time than in February, March 2020, where people's goals and directions had to adapt and evolve in a very fast-paced way. And we'd love to hear your stories, testimonials of how you adapted and changed, and how those goals have gone from 2020 through 2021 as well, and right up till now, and how you're doing. We'd love to hear. And part of the December workshop is to have goal setting reviews. We want to review those that were with us in November, what goals they've thought up, and the goals that we've currently got, how we're getting on with those, and what goals have we now got getting set for 2022 and beyond. We love that. That's a community. It gives you some accountability too, that you're telling other people.
Absolutely, but there's also pleasures as well as times of disheartenment, but it's also terrific pleasures to be gained by moderately or absolutely achieving any of those goals.
Yeah, definitely, and that's something we touched on earlier, and we touched on a lot in that workshop in November, Melvin, was that, because that's what we found in the workshop, that people, we were saying, well, what are your goals? And people were talking about turnover and profit, and all of these things. And Rob said, well, no, I'm talking about your personal goals, what you want out of life. What car do you want? What house do you want? What holidays do you want? What time do you want with your family and friends?
Absolutely.
And money can help buy those things, but money itself it's just a shallow goal. You know, say, I want £1 million, but what am I going to do with it? And we did talk about that in the workshop, Melvin. I know you were in a separate brainstorming group to what I was in, but we were talking about Hollywood stars and famous football players that acquire a lot of wealth very quickly, lottery winners as well. They can very easily go off the rails if they haven't got a direction or a sense of what they want out of life. Then they can end up putting that money into too many pleasures, and they're normally addictive habits of drink, drugs, gambling, those sort of things. And you see them rapidly go down. The likes of, George Best, Paul Gascoigne, and
Jimmy Greaves, Paul Merson, we've seen it all recently, haven't we?
Quite topically for this time in 2021, Britney Spears, who had an amazing career, and then with all this accumulation of wealth, and all of that attention, just went off the rails. And
but remember, she wasn't totally in control of her finances, so she had other issues which needed to be resolved, but nobody was putting their hand out saying, we're going to help you. That's right. Until now.
That's right. That's right. So those personal goals are what are your anchor.
Yeah.
And they deeply root you, and they're the driver as well,
Mm,
because there's something that you get up out of bed in the morning and you think, oh yeah, that's something I really want, and that's the driver.
mm.
Money can't fulfill that driving
No,
force.
it can't. But maybe in our breakout room, and obviously and at other times, you talked about £1 million. Well, you need to ask yourself, is that enough?
Yeah,
Can
yeah,
you
or too much.
can you retire on that?
Yeah,
And where are you going to invest it to make sure that it will sustain you for the rest of your life?
indeed,
Have you
Melvin.
put enough financial plans in place to make sure that it will evolve, it will multiply, etc.?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So we'd love to hear from our audience, your experiences on goals, especially through all
Yeah.
this crazy lockdown and adapting. And yeah, that would be
And
fantastic to get that feedback. Now segueing out of the goal setting part of the workshop, we're going to have a bit of fun at Christmas, aren't we, Melvin?
in December, we will be introducing our incredible quiz. And we have the incredible quiz master.
Well, I don't know about that, but we're going to have a quiz, and it's going to be a little bit around, the topic of mastermind. But more importantly, it's going to be called our nosy neighbour quiz,
Nosy
because
neighbour.
we've got some topics about some of our better known members out on social media, and on other podcasts and broadcasts. Have a listen to those. We've got our favoritism rounds that we introduced as well. And we want to encourage our audience, and those attending especially, to listen in for those facts, because we're going to ask people, what do you know about these people? And there's a specific reason that we're doing that. And that's pretty much a very short topic that we want to talk about in this broadcast. And that's the networking side in business. Often people talk about the business aspect of that connection, but it's about knowing, liking, and trusting a person. And if all it's going to be about is business, it just becomes this very corporate relationship and quite cold. But a real warm relationship creates a deeper friendship. And with that, you enhance that relationship and can get more from that relationship and give more into that relationship. So it's knowing the person and their personal life. And we can very easily overlook that. There's a very short story that I've got about that is, as Melvin, I believe that when I network and I book my initial one-to-ones with people and meet up with them, I'll very often send them my one-to-one sheet. I think you've seen my one-to-one sheet, haven't you, Melvin?
Several times.
so, but the idea of that is people often comment and say, it's great, it told me a lot about your business, etc. When I was originally drafting that up, I was speaking to a colleague of mine, and he said, this is really great, Patrick. You told me all about your professional life and how I can help you in your business. You haven't told me anything about you as a person. And I said, that's really true. And I then created a page, said about my wife, children, grandchildren, and what we like to do in our spare time. That's where we can find rapport. That's where we can really get to know each other. When Melvin mentions Star Trek, my ears prick up and I'm like, oh yes, I like Star Trek too. And we can build rapport and make those connections. And I don't think there's anybody in my network that doesn't know that I like Star Wars. So they're things that people can pick up on, and you find those deeper connections. So we want to encourage our audience to, when you network, make sure that you get to know that person. What are their hobbies, their pastimes, their interests? What clubs are they members of? That's telling you about that person, who they are, what they do, how they tick. And it's a better way to relate, isn't it, Melvin?
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, the fact that you've called all your children after Star Trek members, I mean, you know, it's outrageous. Who wants to be called a hurrah? But you know, you have to learn these things. No, I'm joking. No, he hasn't done.
I have got a son called Luke. Just saying.
As long as you haven't got one called Chekhov, you'll be all right.
Oh yeah, no, there's no Star Trek connotation, but there is a Star Wars. So.
Yeah, well, I'll be very worried if there's a Yoda around the corner.
Or a Darth.
Yeah.
Darth Vader. Yeah. Yes, hopefully not. So
No.
yeah, but I think that's a real key area. It's something that I like to focus on when I'm talking to people, because you know it's an essential part. But
yeah,
you know that key of networking is then, once you've built that rapport, is about then moving forward and looking to help and see where you can help each other in business. And again, we'll touch on that more another time. It's that knowing and liking a person is where it builds that trust. And if we haven't got trust, then we haven't got anything in the network. That's the real key element of it, isn't it, Melvin?
Well, there is an area beyond know, like, and trust, as well as the fact of camaraderie and you know, and having one another's back and support, and all these other words that come in line that you've probably heard a million times over, and they're centuries old. But the most important thing with the current group of people and the growing group of people at Case Mastermind is that there is a sense of caring, and there is a sense of, you know, don't worry if there is an issue, you know, should you have a problem, or even if you've got something to celebrate, you know, we are going to be there with you no matter what.
Yeah, I like to look at it like a band of brothers, Melvin, you know.
But that's sexist.
Okay, a band of people. A band of siblings.
We are a group of individuals. You know, it doesn't matter which gender. The most important thing is that we've got one another's best interests at heart.
You like to pull apart what I say, don't you, Melvin?
Well, I'm sorry, but I don't wish to be arrested for any kind of phase. What's going on in cricket at the moment is horrendous, and it's tragic, it's terrible, it could destroy a sport, and we don't need that at Case Mastermind.
Okay, so a band of siblings where we're all one with each other, and we would be beside one another in the trenches, knowing
absolutely. Let's get Winston out. Come on.
Yeah.
We will fight them on the beaches.
And I think that's the level that you need to get to in business with people.
Yeah, we want people to be lifted. We want to raise their esteem, and we want to build them up. I mean, I think it's very important to, even if things are, let's say, not as good as you might like them, is to still raise the bar and bring people up.
Yeah, I really agree with that, Melvin. And I also think that with that community that we have, that we all come into business at a certain level. And I know I came into the business community very timid. I wouldn't speak in public, hated the thought of it. I wasn't very good at engaging with other people, wasn't very conversational, was quite introverted, and I had to learn to be something beyond what I was and push my comfort zone. So we all come in at different levels, and I never want anyone to shy away and think, oh, I'm too timid. You are the person that we would love to work with, because we want to, like you've just said, Melvin, lift you up and help you just push those comfort zones that little bit more.
Yeah.
And you'll be surprised at what you can do. Jim Rohn once said, you'll struggle like anything to get someone to get up on stage and speak for their first time.
Yeah.
You'll try and try and try. He said, but once they've done it once or twice, then you're trying to stop them from doing it more.
Absolutely. Of course you will.
Yeah, once you break that confidence barrier, it's a real great place to be. That's for sure.
Christmas is coming. We need to have some cheer. The most important thing is that in assisting people, encouraging, giving people, hopefully, the confidence to be able to take that moment where it is the first time that they're coming on screen, going out live, potentially doing a 5, 10, half an hour spot, talking about themselves, talking about their hobbies, their interests, their children, and then what they do for a living and how they are looking to succeed in whichever industry or service that they're in. That's what we're all about, because we've all been there. That first time, that's the hard one.
Indeed.
After that, it's not plain sailing, but you refine, you adapt, and you make it work.
Very much so, Melvin. And I think on that wonderfully put point, I will wear your shoes and say, does that bring us to the close of this month's broadcast?
It might do, apart from one thing.
Go for it.
You haven't done listen up, listen out, and listen in.
Well, I don't.
I'm mortified.
Do you know what? You've done that really well, Melvin. You might have to pass that mantle across. But no, I think we can even finish on that point and say that we love our listeners to continue to listen out, listen up, and listen in.
Wicked.
The Case broadcast, and listen out for our Case workshops, because we enjoy your company. So, without further ado, it's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from me, but wishing you a most wonderful Christmas and New Year for those that we won't see in December. But we will look forward to seeing all of you at some point through 2022.